There's a calendar on the kitchen wall courtesy of the local dairy. The milkman gives you one every December. And this one tells you that it's a Saturday in late October of 1972. The kitchen is bathed in a warm afternoon glow, but the days are getting shorter and it's turned chilly outside, and all of this makes you feel cozy and creative, and you want to make something special for dinner. So, you're flipping through a plastic avocado green box that sits on the counter between the toaster oven and the blender. Every card a potential adventure or culinary gamble, neatly indexed and is just waiting for its moment in the spotlight. Welcome back to the Mid-Century Vault. I am your trusty pop culture historian, Philip Mershon, and today we are exploring the masterful marriage of 1970s marketing and domestic daydreams, the recipe card library. When people think of these boxes today, if in fact they think of them at all, the name Betty Crocker usually comes to mind first. In 1971, General Mills launched the Betty Crocker Recipe Card Library, and it was an absolute juggernaut. The ad says 1,000 recipes, but a lot of the cards had 2 and 3 variations of that recipe, which they figured into the count. Still, it did feature 648 cards organized into categories like entertaining on a shoestring and recipes for calorie counters. While Betty Crocker owned this particular section of your kitchen counter, she wasn't without plenty of competition. There was McCall's. In 1973, they released the Great American Recipe Card Collection, which went hard on the upcoming Bicentennial spirit with a bald eagle on the box and Great American Classics inside. Weight Watchers, perhaps the most infamous of the bunch, their 1974 collection is legendary today, mostly because of its stomach-churning photography of liver pate and mackerel pudding. I'm already a little woozy from contemplating that category of convenience fish. And Better Homes and Gardens, they joined the fray in the late 70s, offering a more refined take on the library format. And the brilliance of this recipe card library wasn't just the food, it was the business model. It worked like a record club. And if you haven't watched my episode on the Columbia House Record Club 5 episodes back, there'll be a link in the description box for you. You'd get the handsome file box in your choice of 4 stunning decorator colors and the first set of 27 cards just to examine, send no money. After the examination period of 14 days, you could send back the cards and call it quits, but you'd get to keep the file box, which really was only useful to file the Betty Crocker cards anyway, or you could send in $1 plus tax, shipping, and handling, and then every month 3 new packets of cards would arrive in the mail for $1 each until you had collected all 24 categories. So all in, you'd pay $24, which adjusted for inflation is a little less than $200 in today's dollars. It was the original gamification of cooking. You weren't just making dinner, you were completing a collection. And by the time you finished the series, you had a library that weighed nearly 5 pounds and covered everything from Hawaiian luau's to men's favorites. And the cultural effect of these libraries was massive. They brought supposed fancy cooking to the suburban housewife and the urban bachelor, making dishes like beef stroganoff and baked Alaska feel achievable through step-by-step instructions. And they also leaned into the mid-century obsession with convenience. See, these cards were in cahoots with the food manufacturers, so nearly every recipe called for a can of cream of something or another soup, a box of gelatin, or a box of Betty Crocker cake mix. They famously prioritized wow presentation over, well, maybe actual flavor. So what is the recipe card library of our age? Have you ever looked at a Pinterest board? That's the digital representation of that little avocado green file box. But if you want the physical experience, look at the subscription meal kits like HelloFresh or Blue Apron. Those large glossy recipe cards that come in your weekly box are the direct descendants of the 71 Betty Crocker library, right down to the vibrant photography and the collectability. The recipe card library from days of yore is a kitschy window into what we used to think good living looked like 50 years ago. a testament to an era that wasn't afraid to put a cherry on top of a meatloaf if it made the photo look better. Have you ever made a dish from a recipe card and been surprised that it actually tasted good? Let me know in the comments. Now comes the part where I spin close the rotary lock on the vault until next time, so chop your olives and mince your celery.